I'm gonna do this. That it was George the best man. Are you sitting there getting your head slammed into the concrete? Are you just laying there? Are you just laying there? No, you're gonna do a fight back, right? Let's say you're fighting back. Are you yelling for help, but you're fighting back at the top of your lungs? You can't. Your first yell might have been at the top of your lungs. The ones after that would have been, help, get help, get help. That's what it would have been like. If you were a chump, that's what it would have been like.
See this Trayvon Martin and Zimmerman thing? Right? Cameraman, you got me there good. You get me clear. You get me nice. I want people to see my face in this here. Right? I got something I want to say. And it's like, I've learned in justice, any law that is out there, that when two wrongs can never make a right, right? If you have one wrong, right, there's no way you can get to the second wrong without first dealing with the first wrong. All right? What I mean by that is, right, if Zimmerman was wrong, then there's no way possible they could reach a point of finding Trayvon guilty for anything or being in the wrong for anything, right? If Trayvon is wrong, then they cannot find Zimmerman for being guilty of anything, right? But if Trayvon is right, then Zimmerman is going to be the one being the wrong. But somebody has to be the wrong because something wrong done happen there, right? The thing is, I learned when I just became 18. I was in Miami, Florida, living in Miami, Florida. And I was now going through Fort Lauderdale, and I'm driving in this Nissan Maxima, right? And due to the fact that how the car was custom built and all this rims and all this here stuff, right? There's some state troopers, and I believe those were like Fed agents or whatever. But the whole story is there was a robbery. I can't remember the business, if it was a bank or whatever the case was, but they pulled me over on the highway, and the officers they had their guns out. They told me to get out the vehicle. I got out the vehicle, and they carried me to the back to their vehicles and stuff. And they told me they had me handcuffed, chill thing, whatever they're gonna search because something happened and my vehicle fit the total descriptions and everything. And they went in my vehicle. They searched front, top, bottom, all inside. Thing was, I had a box of shells, right? Shells that you usually go into a pump shop. Because as I said, I was 18. As soon as I reached 18, due to the fact that me and was making good, decent money at the time, and for protection purposes, I went and got a vehicle because my little brother, who was younger than me, he was chased down in his vehicle, and fellas tried to rob him. So I went and got a vehicle. I went and got a gun. I went and bought a 12 gauge pump shot, and I used to drive around with this pump shot. So anything happened, any emergency, he could call me because he was 17. I was 18. He couldn't buy any at that time. So my gun was registered to me, and I took the gun. And the thing was, I wasn't used to just being legal with guns, so I didn't know that you couldn't have it loaded as a firearm, or you can't just have it loaded and just traversing the city or going anywhere you want, because then if that could be the case, that anybody who don't have felonies or whatever can buy guns, you understand, and walk the city. Then that'll be a totally different world we're living in. That'll be like the Wild Wild West, because as soon as somebody gets their temper buzzing, somebody's gonna die. And that's real. That's proven fact. We ain't got to wonder if it is or whatever. We all human. We all make mistakes. So if that be the case, then there's room for that to happen. So the thing was, they took out the pump shot and they brought it to the back, and it was like, yeah, look what we got. Yeah, this is the car. Da, 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 da. And they were doing all that. They were sure that they were positive they got their man. So this is what they taught me. And one thing I learned every time I come across the law enforcement, anything that they do that heightens my intelligence as far as how they conduct their work or the laws, whatever, I keep it and I put it up here. And what I learned from that was, although my gun was registered to me, right, I could not drive around in my vehicle with a loaded firearm. I have my pump shot loaded because for what happened is the way them guys nearly caught my little brother at the time, and he actually had to break a red light. He had to go around some cars, hit on the sidewalk, jump up on the sidewalk, go around, break the lights just to get away, to try to escape these guys. And all they want to do was just to rob him because he was 17, he was young, he was having money and that kind of vibe. So they did this, and that it caused us to do that. So I drove around with this firearm loaded. But when they caught me and they told me that due to the fact that although I'm registered, due to the fact of how things are, people cannot ride around with their guns or walk around with their firearm loaded. So my point is, before we even got to the point about Trayvon doing anything wrong, is why did Zimmerman leave his house with a loaded firearm? Because at no point in time did Zimmerman ever say that he took his firearm and put the bullets in it. You understand? Before he shot Trayvon. So the question is, Zimmerman was already premeditating what he was about to do. So it's no way possible, even if they found stuff in Trayvon's pocket that looked like it was something that picks locks, whatever the case is, no locks were found. No places were found broken in by Trayvon. No fingerprints. You mean to tell me that because a person walking the street might have a Swiss Army knife or something, whatever the case, you don't know the reason? They could be carrying it home for his parent. He could be you toting it for a friend of his. You don't know that. So just because he had that in his pocket, your boy has no history, nothing dealing with crime, it automatically look like he was in some form of criminal activity, because for the simple fact that you found this in his pocket. So he was up to no good, so he's entitled to die because of that. Now, I've never seen nobody die. You understand? Well, I've never seen nowhere in the law where it says burglary is punishable by death. I haven't seen nowhere in the law where it says that larceny is punishable by death. Right? So what I'm saying is, what Zimmerman did, right? Him killing that young man, anybody eyes can see that it doesn't fit. It does not fit what even what they were trying to say what Trayvon was about. It does not fit. So by him leaving his house with his gun and loaded, shows that he had already premeditated what he was doing. So before they can even get to Trayvon, first thing first, why did Zimmerman have a gun and loaded and walk in the streets with it?